Hello and welcome to the Pickle Jar. My name's Josh, and in today's video we're going to take a look back over the last 100 days as I completed my Centurion challenge. Pickle Jar! Pickle Jar! Miniatures! Excellent! Hi guys, and welcome back to the Pickle Jar for another miniatures video. Just want to say before we get started that if you are enjoying the content we're putting out here on the Pickle Jar, be sure to leave a like and a comment down below, and if you're brand new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can keep up to date with all the content coming out in the future. So this year, once again, I took part in my local Warhammer store's Centurion painting challenge. Now, the idea of this is to paint 100 models in 100 days. I did the same thing last year, and last year I documented it every week with my progress, what I'd managed to get painted, what I'd not managed to get painted. It ended up being a full series of sort of like vlog type videos, and I really enjoyed it. Recently, my local hobby store has started a Centurion challenge for painting miniatures. Now, what this means is you need to paint 100 models in 100 days. Now, on the surface, that sounds quite easy. It's one a day, or if you do 10 a week, then you've got 4 weeks spare overall. The obvious sort of counter argument for that is that that's a lot of painting in realistically not that much time. Unfortunately, last year I did not complete the challenge, and I got to, I think the total was 70 models that I got to. I was, however, the closest to finishing last year. So when they announced they were doing the same sort of challenge this year, I was absolutely determined to finish it. Now, painting 100 models in 100 days kind of sounds like a lot, and then also not that much at the same time. Essentially one model a day, it's not that much work, but it's the consistency that you have to try and keep up and the sort of discipline going into it to try and get this done. Now, there's some people out there, not mentioning their names, Elston, that can paint over 100 models in 3 days, but Elston is a very special case and is able to paint a stupid amount of models. If you want to check out Elston's channel, there's a link in the top right hand corner right now. For me, this was an endurance test. It was a marathon, not a sprint, and I actually managed to complete the challenge this year, which I am super happy about. So I thought it'd be fun to take a look over everything that I've painted during the challenge and have a bit of a talk about painting challenges and painting competitions in general and the sort of pros and cons of taking part in them. So to start off with, for the Centurion challenge, I painted up the Necron half of an Indomitus box set. Now, I actually delayed starting the painting on this by a week and started at the beginning of August because I was also taking part in the August Chilling Wargamers challenge, which was to paint up half of the Indomitus box set. So I painted this full Necron set in August. Now, I had a hell of a lot of fun painting this. I've gone for the new sort of style of Necrons, the new paint scheme. The old Necrons that I used to do years and years ago were my own custom colours, whereas I've decided to go for a more standard colour style on these. They've gone for the sort of bronzed look. I've gone for nice bright gauze rods though on the guns, which I'm super happy with. And I've also gone for these super bright blades on the destroyers there. Now, these were a lot of fun to work on. I had a hell of a lot of fun getting a nice head start during August on the Centurion challenge, getting plenty of models done and out of the way. It was fun working on these. I put quite a lot of effort into them, despite them being Necrons and being nice and easy to paint. But I'm super happy with how they've turned out. I am really excited to be collecting Necrons again and painting Necrons. So yeah, this was a perfect start to both the August challenge, which I finished, and obviously the Centurion challenge as well. Favourite models out of this set are probably the destroyers and the Cryptek. Anything with a blade, really. I'm really happy with the style that I went for on the blades. If you want to see how I did that, then there is a link to the tutorial that I did in the top right hand corner of this video. Once August was out of the way, that was my Necrons done for the time being. I've still got a load of other Necrons left to paint, which we'll get to later on. But for now, I wanted to start working on my Salamanders. Now, I got the half of the Indomitus box set, and I'd also got some other random Salamander bits and pieces that I'd been sat waiting for me to paint for a while. So I decided to crack on and get on with those. So To start with, I finished off a squad of Lightning Claw Terminators that I'd had sat on my shelf for a while. Got them painted. I then started working through the Indomitus stuff, getting that all painted up for my Salamanders. There's plenty of videos. If you check the channel, I've got some videos on the Captain. I've live streamed some of the chaplains that I've painted recently. I now have 3 chaplains for my Salamanders, and hopefully that's enough. Salamanders are one of those armies that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I've been gradually figuring out the colour scheme, figuring out the paint style that I want to do for them, and I'm at a point now where I'm happy with how I do the armour on them, and it's just a case of working my way through and doing them. It's a bit of a passion project. I've still not managed to use them in a game at all. But I'm having fun painting them up and growing this force so that eventually when I do get to play, I'll have plenty of different options to build an army from. Favourite models for the Salamanders that I painted are probably the Judicia Chaplain. I really love the sword on that guy. I painted him on a couple of live streams. So I'm really happy with him. And after him, it's probably the bike. Obviously there's a squad of 3 of these, but I only got 1 painted for the challenge purely because of time. At this point I was getting towards the end of my 100-day sort of target and had to start making some decisions that would enable me to finish the challenge, and that's kind of what I wanted to speak about for a little bit. Obviously painting challenges are good, that they give us a target to work towards and give us something to push for and to try and achieve. But on the other hand, they can then influence the decisions that you're making, not necessarily for the best. So the example here is that I decided, rather than working through and finishing all the Marines from the Indomitus box set, I would cut my work on the Marines short and then instead paint more Necrons to compensate, purely because I can paint Necrons faster than I can paint Space Marines. Basically painted the last 30 miniatures that I needed for this challenge in the last week, and that was 30 Necron warriors. It was a bit of a push. It took a bit of sort of commitment and a bit of, you know, just this is what I'm doing and focus, but I got them done. I didn't necessarily want to paint that many Necrons. My intention had always been to paint a full Indomitus box set and then make up the rest of the miniatures that I needed for the challenge with whatever else I'd got lying around. So that would have been a full set of Necrons, full set of Marines, and then maybe some more Necrons, but not as many as I did end up doing. Now, like I said, this isn't necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. It depends on your point of view. Yes, I did get another 30 Necron warriors painted, and I've got more or less 2,000 points worth of Necrons sat ready to go once I get some of the new stuff that's not been released yet. But I also wanted to get a full set of the Marines done. As it stands, I've still got 2 bikes to paint, I've still got 5 Assault Primaris to paint, I've got the Blade Guard Primaris Ancient, whatever it's called, they're all unpainted. So I will get around to doing them at some point. In fact, I'm planning on doing a video for the bike, but I did not get them finished for the challenge. Now, like I said, I'm not too disappointed in this because I did end up finishing the challenge. The full set here of the Necrons, the Space Marines, and a little bit of terrain that I'd had sat waiting for a while. Finished off my 100 miniatures, and actually when I came to the end of the challenge I realised that I'd actually painted 102 miniatures because I painted an old school Harlequin, which I did for a video a while back, and I also painted up the Sergeant Ripper Jackson model that I did for the skin video a couple of weeks ago. Now, this was a challenge set by my local store, and I was not the only one that managed to complete the challenge. One of the other regulars, Connor, has also managed to complete the Centurion challenge, and I thought it was only right that I showed off some of his stuff here on the video and give him the praise that he deserves for completing such a mammoth undertaking. Now, Connor actually surpassed the 100 models mark himself as well, but by more than I did. I can't remember the exact number of models that he painted, but I think it was around 130 in 100 days, and he actually finished a couple of weeks early, so absolutely smashed it out of the park. So well done to you, Connor. So the pictures that you're seeing are some of the ones that he sent me over of his full completed set of miniatures. I asked him a couple of questions. He said his favourite model to work on was his kit-bashed Imperial Guard bikers. It was his first time doing any sort of converting, and he really had fun with it. I asked him what he thought about the challenge and if it was that had pushed him to paint so much, or if it was more a case of the situation that we're in currently. And he said that it's definitely the challenge has pushed him to paint as much as he has done. He said he didn't think he'd have painted this much in a year, never mind 100 days, which is a sentiment that quite a lot of people have reflected on when I've mentioned the challenge to them. So once again, massive congratulations to Connor. If you want to check out his Instagram, I will put a link in the description down below. He's an absolutely fantastic guy, properly gets involved with all the competitions at our local store, and he is coming on leaps and bounds with his painting, so it's well worth checking him out. So I am super happy that I managed to get the Centurion challenge done this year. Like I said, I was the closest to finishing last year, but fell short of the 100 model mark. This year I have done it. Will I take part again if they do the same thing next year? I'm not sure. Now, don't get me wrong, I am super happy that I managed to get this done this year. It's sort of like a tick box that I've managed to mark off. I've got it done. I can say that I've done it. Do I want the sort of stress and anxiety of falling behind and worrying that I'm not going to get this done? Ultimately, it doesn't affect anyone. It doesn't make any difference, but I feel like I would be letting myself down if I say I'm going to do something and then don't. So I'm not sure. I think it'll definitely depend on next year, how I feel. Last year, I said I wasn't going to take part this year, and then it got to this year, and I said, yep, I'm all in, let's do it, let's go. I think it's fallen quite well this year because the sort of combination between the Indomitus box coming out, which was a massive amount of models to get in one go, painting Necrons again, which are nice and easy to paint and allowed me to get a massive chunk. 72 of the 100 models that I painted were Necrons, so that gives you some sort of insight into, you know, what I managed to get done. So who knows, we'll see next year as and when my local store decides that they're going to do a Centurion challenge again. Maybe I'll take part to sort of uphold my status as managing to complete it. Maybe I'll retire now, I don't know, we'll see. So there you go guys, I hope you enjoyed that look through everything that I've painted over the last 100 days. Well, I say everything, this is all the Games Workshop miniatures. Obviously I've painted other stuff, but that just didn't count towards the Centurion challenge because it's not Games Workshop. So this is everything that I've painted for the Centurion challenge. It's been really fun looking back over everything that I've got done. It was fun getting it all out on the table for those nice big group shots and the panning videos, and seeing what I've managed to accomplish sort of all laid out in front of me was really nice. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and a comment down below, let me know your thoughts, and if you're brand new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell next to it. If you want to help support the channel, we have our very own merch store. The link is down below in the description, where you can go and buy yourself a Pickle Jar mug, t-shirt, hoodie, whatever you need. And if you want to donate directly to the channel without buying any merch, then we have a link down below in the description for that as well. If you want to see more of me, I live stream here on the Pickle Jar every Wednesday evening at 8 PM. If you want to get involved with voting on what I'll be working on the live streams, you can head over to our Facebook page or Instagram page and vote on the polls that come out every Monday or Tuesday. I also live stream over on the Chilling Wargamers channel with Spud and Nelson every Thursday at 8 PM, where we have plenty of banter and sometimes we get guests on to talk to. It's always top fun, so make sure you go and check that out. That's all from me, and I'll see you next week with another video.